and her belief is everything falls in proper place if one just loves to learn and learns to love. We request and ask Anna Madam to take over the session.
Thank you so much, Chinmay, for those kind words. I don't ever feel that I have left Yuvalay. I still feel I'm a part of Yuvalay, even though I have not taken a session in about 2 years. But I'm so glad that with all that is happening around us, it brought me this opportunity to connect with all of you once again. So thank you everyone for joining in. And if you would like to, during the session, please continue typing your questions in the chat box and I will review it at the end. The challenge right now is that I am looking at a camera, but I'm only seeing my presentation and nobody else. And I know that is so that all the process runs smoothly. But I'm still here to have a conversation, to have a dialogue. So please share your questions as soon as you get them, and we will definitely look into as many as possible at the end of it. So let's begin. Finding your flow. I wish I was there in a classroom right now and be going like, okay, so how many of you have heard these three words together? Finding your flow. And I'm sure there would have been a couple of hands going up or maybe not. And that would have been my favorite moment of the whole session. And I would have enjoyed it so much. But now let me be the person who asks question and gives answers also. Finding your flow, or this word flow, is not a new word. It has been there for centuries together. And every century or every turn of time, it was given a new name. Again, depending on people who have actually used or applied this particular philosophy, it again they could call it, based on their philosophies, they could call flow as to be peak performance. They could call flow as being in a godlike state. They could call flow to be in a meditative state. So there were different names that were given to it, but the idea remains same. Finding your flow is important because when you are in flow, you are unstoppable. So we are here trying to learn how to be unstoppable. All right. So now moving ahead. But H.T. Patel sir just told me that I should also be using it in my language skills of Hindi and Gujarati. હવે મને એવું લાગે છે કે મને ગઈકાલે ગુજરાતી પ્રેક્ટિસ કરવી જેવી હતી instead of just practicing my presentation. But જ્યારે મને એવું લાગે કે ભાઈ આ વસ્તુ હું ઇંગ્લિશ કે ગુજરાતીમાં કહી શકું, ઇંગ્લિશ કરતા ગુજરાતી કે હિન્દીમાં કહી શકીશ, I will be doing that. So I hope you are ready to get on this flowing journey. આજના જે ટોપિક્સ છે, it includes what is flow. Flowની definition શું છે એ આપણે ડિસ્કસ કરીશું. Common effects by being in the state of flow. જ્યારે આપણે ફ્લો સ્ટેટમાં હોઈએ ત્યારે શું બધું થાય છે, એટલે and this is આપણી ખાલી બાયોલોજી કે સાયકોલોજી નહીં, આપણી બીઇંગોલોજી. હવે આ વર્ડ મેં હમણાં જ કોઈન કર્યું છે, બીઇંગોલોજી. આપણે કહીએ ને આપણે હ્યુમન બીઇંગ છીએ, તો આ જે બીઇંગોલોજી છે એમાં શું શું એ બધા એક્સપિરિયન્સીસ છે જે ઘણીવાર કોમન રહે. અને તમે એડ પણ કરી શકો છો ચેટ બોક્સ પર. હું આ સ્લાઇડ પર એકવાર ફરી ચેટ બોક્સ ચેક કરીશ કે તમારા કોઈક સજેશન્સ એમાં આવ્યા છે તો. પછી આપણે ડિસ્કસ કરીશું what are the benefits of being in the state of flow. પછી આપણે ડિસ્કસ કરીશું triggering flow states. Chinmay very beautifully mentioned that I am a neurolinguistic practitioner. So basically we learn कि we can create triggers જેના કારણે કોઈ સ્ટેટ ઓફ માઇન્ડ હોય કે કોઈ ફ્લો સ્ટેટ હોય એ આપણે અચીવ કરી શકીએ in either reduced time or no time. ઓછા ટાઈમમાં કે નો ટાઈમમાં. અને પછી we will discuss how do we achieve the state of flow every day. અને એમાં હું તમારી સાથે એક એક્સરસાઇઝ કરાવીશ. I will just request everyone કે if you can be with me till then, and if you can actually do the exercise જ્યારે હું કરું ત્યારે તમે તમારા ઘરની કમ્ફર્ટમાં તમે એક્સરસાઇઝ કરો તો it would be very very beneficial. And finally જે મારા resources છે એ બધા હું તમારી સાથે share કરીશ. And obviously this presentation will be shared with Patel sir, and then he can share it with all of you. So let's get started. What is flow? And I was so lucky to actually find this GIF where this water is flowing. And why water? Because water ni ye property છે કે water is so soft કે તમે કોઈ પણ એને શેપમાં નાખો એ જતો રહે. But it is so strong, like literally આ પિક્ચરમાં તમે જોશો, mountains, it has cracked between mountains to find its way. So this is the beauty. And ghana badha philosophers and popular celebrities have water ni philosophy use kari che. To give you an example, one of my favorite all time favorite action stars, which is Bruce Lee. મને નહીં ખબર તમે લોકોએ સાંભળ્યું છે એમનું નામ કે નહીં, but if you've watched movies like Enter the Dragon, I think he was one of the first people I heard using this analogy where he says that water is so soft that it can fill in every nook and cranny. A water is not looking at ki hu ahi jai shaku chu ke nahi. It just goes, and that is the state of flow. That is the state of flow. That is flow, that you are not bothered whether you are going in the right direction or not, because you are like water and you make your own direction. Now, to understand the definition of flow, I have a few more inputs. So flow means being completely present to the moment. For example, હમણાં તમે મારો સેશન સાંભળી રહ્યા છો. તમારામાંથી કેટલા લોકો છે who are in a completely quiet environment, એટલે કે ઘરની આજુબાજુ કોઈ નથી, or you are in an environment where જો તમે લેપટોપ પર જોઈ રહ્યા છો મારો presentation, you are not checking your phone again and again, okay? Or if you are even watching it in a completely quiet place and you are watching it without distraction of your phones and WhatsApp messages, how many of you are really not thinking about કે અરે આ પતાઈને પછી મને આ કરવું છે, પછી મને like for me being a woman, my mind is always at આજે શું રાંધીશ. It's always focused on what I'm going to do next. Can I share those moments where I am actually completely present to the moment? Not just in the moment, I'm present to the moment. Those experiences when you have been completely present to the moment, in the sense તમે એકદમ એ મોમેન્ટમાં છો, તમને શું થઈ ગયું છે એની ચિંતા નથી, શું થવાનું છે એની ચિંતા નથી. You're completely there, and that is the most amazing experience, because you are in the state of flow. I got introduced to this concept of flow when I read the book The Rise of Superman by Stephen Kotler. So I'm going to now give you the inputs that Stephen Kotler uses to describe what is flow. Flow, in Kotler's words, is basically when you feel your best and perform your best. Very simple. You're feeling great and you're doing great. Okay, so it's basically two sides of the coin. Okay, મને સારું ફીલ થાય છે અને હું સારું કરું પણ છું. And if you look globally, આનાથી વધારે કોઈને શું જોઈએ? Literally nothing, or very little. It is, he also describes it as moments of rapt attention. Rapt એટલે complete. If there was a superlative word to complete, superlative એટલે એનાથી વધારે stronger word, that would have been rapt. So moments of rapt attention and total absorption. I'll give you an example for if anybody of you have practiced any athletics in your lifetime. It is basically that concentration you have, that when the whistle blows, you start running. Okay. Now, why do you have to be focused on the whistle and not focused on running? You have to be focused on the whistle so that the time lost between the whistle and you moving is as less as possible. You don't waste time, energy, stance, and you are actually running to get what is rightfully yours, running to get your goal, your destination. Okay, so the rapt attention, that there is no question about whether this is right or wrong. You are just focused on it is not even, you're not even thinking, it is a knee jerk reaction. જો આપણે, what is knee jerk reaction? જો આપણે કઈ હોટ વેસલ ને ટચ કરીએ તો એકદમ આપણે હાથ પાછળ લઈએ અને પછી રિયલાઇઝ થાય કે ઓ લાઈક ઇટ વોઝ હોટ. So what happens is that તમારી જે biology છે કે તમારું જે peripheral nervous system છે, that has become, that basically takes over in that moment કે ભાઈ પાછળ કરો હાથ, નહીં તો you will harm yourself. So this is where the beauty of being lost or being completely absorbed comes. He also says that it is to be so focused on the task at hand that everything else disappears. What is time? Who's in front of me? Who's behind me? આ માણસ મને ગમે છે કે નહીં ગમે છે? આ કામ મને ગમે છે કે નહીં ગમે છે? The focus is completely on just the task at hand. Okay, to give you an example, if you have seen any training, and I would encourage you to see that, look at FBI or SWAT combat training. And what they show is that they have this drill center where બહુ મોટો લેઆઉટ હોય. ઓકે, અને આ મોટા લેઆઉટમાં ક્યુબિકલ્સ હોય અને એમાં એ લોકો એવી રીતે ડ્રીલ કરે કે થોડાક લોક they are the bad guys and થોડાક લોક are the hostages, and the team then enters, and a team ની response time they calculate since the time they get the call. So for example, કોઈ બેંકમાં રોબરી થઈ છે તો રોબરી ની અલાર્મ ટ્રિગર થતા જે SWAT ને કોલ જાય છે અને એની રિસ્પોન્સ ટાઈમ શું છે એ પ્રમાણે એ લોકો કેલ્ક્યુલેટ કરે. and as soon as they reach the door, ટીમ હોય લેટ્સ સે ફોર એક્ઝામ્પલ 5 લોકોની, એમાં 2 લોકો સામે જોયે, 2 લોકો સાઈડનો જોયે અને 1 માણસ પાછળનો જોયે, એન્ડ કોઈ એકબીજાને કંઈ કહે નહીં, because you have to be absolutely silent, નહીં તો bad guys will know that oh SWAT આવી ગયું છે, they will harm the hostages or they'll harm SWAT, whatever. You should watch these videos because the task at hand is just that એક માણસ રાઈટ જોયે તો બીજો લેફ્ટ જોયે. They are not even talking to each other, and that is what happens, that the focus is ki bhai mane hostages ne chhodava che and this is what I am doing. And lastly, this is where action and awareness merge. Awareness એટલે કે તમારી જે mental સ્થિતિ છે about ki ha હું આ છું, and action એ છે કે okay all right હું આ કામ કરું છું. Okay, action and your awareness, they merge completely and your sense of self vanishes. એટલે હવે હું ને મારું કામ જુદું નથી. I have become one with my work. That work could be studying for my exam. That work could be overcoming an engineering challenge. That work could be મારી ટીમમેટ સાથે કોન્ફ્લિક્ટ થઈ છે એને રિઝોલ્વ કેવી રીતે કરું. It is not separate. એવું નથી કે હા ઓકે જોઈશું ક્યારે કરીશું. No, you have completely merged with the action you are doing. Your sense of self vanishes, and the beauty about it is જ્યારે તમારી sense of self vanish થાય ત્યારે તમારું number one enemy vanish થઈ જાય. And I wish we were in a physical class and I would have asked, do you know what's your number one enemy? Because I know what it is. It is ego. All right, when your sense of self vanishes, your personal ego vanishes. When your personal ego vanishes, you are one with the universe. Okay, all right, next point. And please pay attention આ પોઈન્ટમાં because I am now going to check the chat box for any questions, plus I'm going to ask all of you a question. Have you ever been in a state of flow? And if you have been in a state of flow, what are some of the common experiences you've had? So I'm going to check the chat box right now. Any suggestions? Okay, so I have one answer, which is total involvement. Concentration increases, forget about time, excellence, satisfaction, consistency, true, true. Time flies, we feel happy, joy of work, wonderful. Come on, come on, come on. We are about 68 people. Come on, we can do more. Uh, Forget about everything else. Get lost. Just be yourself. Wonderful. I like that one. Just being yourself. We feel it within, couldn't care less about what others are doing. And this is such a beautiful state, right? When you are not bothered about what others are doing, thinking, saying, expecting, and you are more focused at the work of at hand, not thinking of your destination. Okay. I used to be in flow when need to complete the task in concentrated times. Yeah. And this is something that I am going to talk about. So trigger environments, remember those words, okay? I'm going to discuss what are those triggers that are possible. Okay, not in this world and just enjoying work. Wonderful. All right. So thank you so much for those quick responses. Wonderful. Now I see that there are 69 people on the call. And I'm just feeling happier and happier. And this is basically when I'm in the state of flow. And I'm so happy to be sharing it with you. So yes, the number one thing that can guarantee to, if you have to ask your question, okay, હું આ કરતો તો, was I in flow or was I not in flow? Okay. This is the guaranteed criteria for answering that question. Time sense is obliterated. એટલે કે તમને ખબર નહીં what is the time that is going on. You don't realize કેટલો fast time pass થયો છે કે કેટલો slow. You have become so engrossed that your regular bodily functions have also being pushed back so that your sense of time is completely lost. It's like giving you an example. Preparing for an exam. And I love this example because I have done it so many times in my life. You otherwise on a given day, you sleep like a log 9 p.m. at night. But next day is my exam and I am bright and alert 2 a.m. in the morning and I'm still reading what I have to do. What is happening? There is basically an environment which has acted as a trigger, and because it has acted as this trigger, I have lost the sense of time. Okay? A sense of calm. And this is another very important criteria. Now, what happens is sometimes people lose their sense of time when they are in a panic state also. So it's not about being in a panic state. It's being in a calm state. And this happens because you are completely detached to the outcome of your action. તમે જે હમણાં કરી રહ્યા છો, તમે એક કામમાં એટલી રીતે સારી રીતે engrossed છો that you are not worried કે હવે આનો outcome શું થશે. Right? You are calm. Increase concentration. અને મને પ્રોફેસર એક્સ થી વધારે કંઈક ઇમેજ મળ્યો નથી, but yes, increased concentration, increased focus. You are not responding to your external environments. અને આ કેમ જરૂરી છે? આ એટલા માટે જરૂરી છે because our behaviors are created or exist in a pattern. Most of us have a fixed time. અમે સવારે કેટલા વાગે ઉઠીએ, what time we eat, what time we sleep, what time we, sometimes even what time we interact with each other. ફ્રેન્ડોને ક્યારે મળવા જઈએ. Okay, so what happens is that when I am in a state of flow, I am outside my pattern. Now, when I'm outside my pattern, my focus is now not on just responding to my environmental stimulus. Yo, falano આવ્યો છે, મને વાત કરવી છે, ઓ આ કરવું છે, આ કરવું છે. No, my focus is just on the task at hand. Change in perception. એટલે કે શું? એટલે કે જો તમે એક કામ flow state માં કરો. Now this is where also the word expertise can come in. જો તમે એક જ કામ flow state માં કરો, શું થાય કે તમે યુ બીકમ સો ફેમિલિયર વિથ દેટ વર્ક કે હવે તમે એ વર્કમાં તમે વધારે ક્રિએટિવ થઈ શકો છો, કે તમે વધારે એમાં તમને ઓપ્શન્સ દેખાવા લાગે છે. That is possible when you are in this flow state. સ્ટીવન કોટલરની જે બુક છે રાઇઝ ઓફ સુપરમેન, એમાં એ એક્ઝામ્પલ આપે ઓફ અબાઉટ ફ્રી સ્ટાઇલ freestyle snowboarder by the name of McConkey. He's no more, but he was one of the first people who came up with these concepts of જે extreme stunts આપણે નથી જોઈતા કે પ્લેન માંથી કૂદીને પછી માઉન્ટેન પર લેન્ડ કરે ને પછી એ માઉન્ટેનની એન્ડમાં જાય. So he was so to say the father of these extreme sports. They say that he used to be in the state of flow so often that એને રૂટ્સ દેખાય કે ઓ આવી રીતે જઈશું તો આવી રીતે આપણે ટેક ઓફ કરી શકીશું, આવી રીતે કરીશું. So the thing is that your mind suddenly starts seeing patterns, suddenly starts seeing different solutions જ્યાં એ probably થતા જ નથી. All right. So this is another common effect of being in the state of flow. You tend to become into a problem solver when you are in a state of flow. Why? Because you are, again, the idea is you are not attached with the outcome. When I came to Canada, we were looking at business and training and coaching options. અને જ્યારે અમે લોકો આ જોતા હતા ત્યારે we attended some training programs, અને આ ટ્રેનિંગ પ્રોગ્રામમાં અમને એ કીધું હતું કે if you are not married to the outcome of your action, એટલે કે તમે ફોર એક્ઝામ્પલ તમે ડિસાઇડ કર્યો છે ઓ મને આ બિઝનેસ કરવો છે. ફોર એક્ઝામ્પલ મને સિમ્પલ મને એક ગ્રોસરી સ્ટોર કરવો છે. ઓકે, ઇફ યુ આર નોટ મેરિડ કે ભાઈ મને ગ્રોસરી સ્ટોર જ કરવો છે, બીજું કંઈ નથી કરવો, નહીં તો ખબર નહીં શું થઈ જશે. If you're not married to your idea, your chances of having success in running that grocery store or any business will be much higher when you compare it to when you're married to that idea. કેમ કે તમે પછી તમારું your work will be reflected only by the outcome. મને ફોર એક્ઝામ્પલ આ કસ્ટમર આવીને મારાથી 1000 રૂપિયાનું ની ખરીદી કરે છે વર્સિસ ઓય પેલો કસ્ટમર તો રૂપિયો નથી ખર્ચતો, વાતો કરીને જતો રહે છે. Now my quality of customer service to both these people will change. Why so? Because I am now not focused at providing customer service. I am now more focused at અરે મને આનાથી કેટલા પૈસા મળશે. Okay, so this is why you become a good problem solver when you are in state of flow, because you are not married to that idea. એટલે તમે સજેશન આપ્યો તો એવું નથી કે એક એકલો સજેશન છે. You are happy to take suggestions from everyone till it solves the problem. And what do you think happens, or why do you think these things or these changes in our perception happen? Just one second. Excuse me. Now, the changes in perception happen because what these scientists or these brain scientists have done is that they actually have checked what the state of flow looks like through fMRI, okay, functional magnetic resonating imaging. And what they see is that our understanding first was that if you use your entire brain, you will be able to be unstoppable. You will be more creative. You will be more solutions oriented. But instead, what they see is that when you are in state of flow, the brain activity reduces. Now, this is very consistent what we have already seen in most of our Asian teaching. તમે Chinese કહો કે Indian કહો, that the idea is breathe. Let go of all worries, focus on just your breath. Why? Because the idea is to get your brain activity lower. Because a lowered brain activity is an easy door to enter the state of flow. મારા મગજમાં બહુ બધું ચાલતું હોય તો મને flow, it's not possible for me to be in flow. Flow નહીં, એને storm કહેલા છે. Okay. બટ જ્યારે મારી બ્રેઇન એક્ટિવિટી ડિક્રીઝ છે, ફોકસ છે, ત્યારે I can be easily in the state of flow. All right, I'm going to check the chat box once again if for any questions, and then I'm going to move to the next slide. Okay, so oh wow, we've reached 72 participants. Yeah, okay. Oh wow, I get a question. How to make uninterested work into state of flow? Wow. um, See, this is the thing. Now our mind is designed in such a way that we are thinking, oh, આમાં કેવી રીતે મજા ક્રિએટ કરું. It's actually the other way around. મજાથી આ કેવી રીતે ક્રિએટ કરું. I hope I hope I've answered your question. All right. That instead of, so મને આ કામ ગમતો નથી, હવે આને કરવા માટે ફ્લો ક્યાંથી લાવવું? નહીં, હું ફ્લોમાં છું, આ ફ્લો સ્ટેટમાં આ કામ થઈ જશે. So focus first on creating those states for yourself. You don't have to worry about the quality of work or what work you are doing. You can just right now try to just enjoy your flow states for now. Okay. Outcome slide, please highlight more about that. Okay, so this is not the slide that shows the outcome of being in flow state. This is a slide that talks about what are the effects, what are people's experiences when they are in a state of flow. Okay. Now once again, the idea is not about if you're talking about the getting married to the outcome, this is what I'm talking about. Let's say I have a task. The task is that I have to make this presentation for you. Okay. હવે હું આ presentation properly એકદમ તૈયાર કરું ને આ બધું કરું અને પછી I come to Google Hangouts and I'm like, okay, presentation start. And then I get this that, oh, there's only one participant, and then there is Patel sir and Chinmay and Nirali. Okay, so there are just 4 people. I worked on this presentation and this is what happens. Okay. Now I'm first talking about how behavior pattern is built. Okay. So now હવે મને ખબર પડી કે અરે યાર હું like I could have been doing ત્યાંની સાંજ છે, અહીં it's morning, હું કંઈક બીજું કરી શકતી હતી. I could have done something else. હવે આમાં તો 4 જ લોકો આવ્યા, એ પણ 3 તો ભાઈ યુવાલયના જ શું કહેવાય administrative committee માંથી છે. How do I make sense of it? And what happens is that next time પછી મને કે now I like Patel sir, so હું ના નહીં પાડું, પણ પછી મને એવું જ થાય કે અરે યાર છોડ ને યાર હવે like let's let it be. We કંઈક underwhelming presentation prepare કરીશ because I am now married to the outcome कि यार 4 तो लोगों आवाना छे, હવે એમાં કેટલો ટાઈમ હું બરબાદ કરું. All right, so that is the idea of getting married to your outcome. કે ભાઈ મને ખબર છે કે હું કંઈ પણ કરું, આ બોસ મારા પર ચીડવાનો છે તો હું કંઈ પણ કરીને પછી આપીશ. All right, the idea is that when you are in state of flow, it doesn't matter what outcome. It doesn't matter 4 લોકો છે, it doesn't matter કે boss ચીડશે કે નહીં, it doesn't matter કે મારા family members મારા like શું વિચારશે. None of those is the question. The question is just one thing, that you are in a state of flow and you are living your personal greatness in that state of flow. I hope I have answered that question. It was by Shivani. I felt I didn't know. Okay. All right. So moving ahead, keep the questions coming. I will be checking it on and off, so don't worry about that. Okay. Now, what are the benefits of being in the state of flow? So we've seen the common effects, but what are the benefits? So now number 1 benefit is that productivity increases. When you are in state of flow, you can actually get more accomplished. Okay. એટલા માટે a lot of time management gurus, they will say કે ભાઈ તમે જ્યાં કામ કરો છો ડેસ્ક તમે ક્લિયર રાખો, organized તમે જો calendar રાખો ને. Now why do people spend so much money on building calendars and organizers and things like that? Because these are just tools which have been used and they've stood their test of time, that has been effective in getting people to the state of flow. Okay, for example, મારી જે calendar diary છે એમાં I have written that okay, 7:30 I have to do this, 9 a.m. I have to do this, 11 a.m. I have to do this. I've already listed what all I have to accomplish. All right, so once, because I have already listed what I have to accomplish, I am now just going to look at that and get to work, look at that and get to work. The challenge is right now that the world we live in, it is full of nonsense stimulation. You have your phone for sure, but then you also have your family member's phone, because you are in a state of flow, you are completely in your work, and suddenly there is some ringtone that is going out, and forgive me for being cheesy, but it is like kanta laga, and it has distracted you, maybe not taken you completely out of flow, but it has distracted you in that moment. Okay, so this is where the idea is to reduce or minimize as much as possible, if not eliminate, distractions to be in the state of flow. So જ્યારે તમે કામ કરો ત્યારે instead of having, for example, તમે કંઈક, you are learning a subject, okay, instead of having three things open in front of you, તમે કમ્પ્યુટર પર છો, તમે તમારી નોટબુક પર છો, તમે તમારા મોબાઈલ ફોન પર છો, just start one thing at a time. એકવાર બુક પતાવો, પછી કમ્પ્યુટર પર જાઓ, પછી ફોન પર જાઓ, nobody is stopping you. But that is how you become more productive. Plus, multitasking is a fallacy, and this has been proved by psychologists, I don't know, maybe 100 years ago, because what they did was they asked people to do two things simultaneously, and what they found is that the job done in either of those simultaneous situation is poorer if they were just doing that one job at a time. Now I can understand that some people have a need for change, એટલે કે કંઈક વેરાયટી જોઈએ, એક જ ચોપડીમાંથી વાંચી વાંચીને કંટાળી જઈશું, that is okay. The idea is that you have to be in a high trigger environment, એટલે કે novelty તમે તમારી બુક બદલીને પણ રાઈ શકો છો, or what you can do is you can space your work in such a way કે you are being able to do your work, plus you're also able to keep yourself up with that change. All right, another benefit of being in the state of flow, especially at work, is that you can enjoy things, you can be happy about working, and you can feel that yes, flowers are coming out of your laptop, why not, right? So that is, those are the two main benefits. Now what happens when you add these two? When you add these two, what you get is an ecstatic being. So you are very happy, તમે પોતે જ ખુશીના સ્ટેટમાં છો, અને એ ખુશીની સ્ટેટમાં તમે વધારે વસ્તુઓ અચીવ કરી શકો છો. So those are the benefits of being in the state of flow. All right, now I am seeing that there are some questions coming in which is about how to get in the state of flow. So here we go about answering those questions. Okay, according to Kotler, in his second book, which is Stealing Fire, there are 4 ways of triggering flow states, or 4 major ways of triggering flow state. The first one is environmental. Okay, so if you see this person, he's rock climbing, and he's not having any harness. This is known as free soloing. There is no harness, and this is an environmental situation. So you are in an environment that pushes you to focus, and because it is so demanding you to focus, you are pushed into the state of flow. To give you another example, okay, let me give you a personal example actually. Uh, when I was in second year of college, I met with an accident. And as soon as so I and one of my friend was sitting behind me, and I had my scooty pep, and we had both fallen off from it. Okay, what happened is that because it was like it was such a impactful, like it is middle of the road. Okay, so it was such an impactful moment that the instead of worrying about, oh, I have fallen down, I've got hurt, the immediate reaction that I had was, okay, let me look around. Is it I hope there are no vehicles coming in. I held my friend's hand. I took her on the side of the road. I went back again, and I was showing my hand for the other vehicles coming behind to stop, and I pick up my vehicle and I take it to the side, and that was that. Okay, this journey happened because the environment demanded me to be focused. Which, by the way, I'm not suggesting कि please jaine tame tamari like crash your scooties in some other in the middle of the road. That is not my suggestion. What I'm saying is that this environment was very demanding. A wrong move could turn it in a different way, because remember, there is traffic coming from behind. અને જો કોઈને geography ખબર like સમજવી છે તો this is near Lalbagh Garden on the railway fatak. અને હમણાં તો એક બ્રિજ છે ત્યાં, પણ ત્યારે બ્રિજ નહોતો. Yeah, I'm that old. So ત્યારે બ્રિજ નતો, અને એ ટાઈમે અમે બંનેઓ પડી ગયા હતા. And the bridge had the drawbridge had just opened up, and vehicles પાછળથી આવી રહ્યા હતા. So, and high demanding environments puts you in a state of flow. Another example could be કે જ્યારે deadlines તમને આપે. Okay, now deadlines is an example. Okay, we'll come to deadlines in just a second. Another is social and social triggers. Okay, now what are social triggers? I'll give you an example. My spouse was writing a book. Okay, હજી સુધી book launch થઈ નથી, so I won't give you more details, but it is actually about the journey of being an immigrant to Canada. Okay, અને as soon as he told me that I've completed writing my book, I was like, હવે મને લખવી છે. What does that mean? It is basically, yeah, you could say that I am being very competitive, but the idea is that the other person, or your friends around, your family around, is basically challenging you to grow. અને આપણા ઇન્ડિયન કલ્ચરમાં તો આ થઈ જ જાય છે. How? I'll give you an example, because we have our siblings, we have our parents, we have aunts and uncles and grandparents and cousins, and આપણી જે સાયકોલોજી છે બધા સાથે મેચ નથી થતી, but we are constantly pushed to adapt. Okay, so this is where social, or being in a social environment, or being with people around, pushes you to get into the state of flow. Okay, and then I wrote a book in 4 days. So just telling you, if you think that this does not make sense, no, it does, because it makes sense. It actually pushes you. And this is the word this is where the word compete comes from. It is not about putting you down. It is basically challenging each other to become better. Okay, and this can happen in groups, in couples, but it's a healthy challenge to go ahead. And then comes the psychological trigger. So the psychological trigger is what I was talking about, the deadline effect. I want this thing done by 2 p.m. by hook or by crook. And that creates the impact. And now suddenly I'm very focused at just getting my work done. All right. So this is the beauty of triggering flow states. You can have it in an environment where you're physically demanded to pay attention. You can have it in a social environment where by just being with each other, you are demanded to pay attention. And there is a psychological environment where psychological capacities demand you to create a better environment. Sorry, to get in the state of flow. And last, and this is one is my favorite, and this is a scene from Doctor Strange being opened, or his mind being open to the world, so to say, or the multiverse, so to say. And that is being in the state of oneness creates creativity. Okay, so when you are one, all right, with or you have this understanding that I am one with the universe, and which a lot of people like Shaolin mosques have been doing, that they have been trained to meditate, and just by meditation get into the flow states, that they are able to catch bullets and stop spears with their bodies. This is basically the fourth state. Yeah, and this one is the most trickiest, because there are no set actions to actually get into it, but it is one of the most powerful states of triggering flow. Okay, let me see if there are any questions that I could be answering. uh, uh, okay, question is that when I sit all right. Okay. So for people who are saying that I sit to study and I cannot study for more than 15 to 20 minutes, here is my trick. જ્યારે હું માસ્ટર્સના ફાઇનલ યરમાં હતી, I would do this, that ફોર એક્ઝામ્પલ હવે મને ખબર છે સ્કેડ્યુલ શું છે, કે ઓકે 2 વીક્સમાં એક્ઝામ શરૂ થવાના છે, and our examination timings, it used to be hot April hot, and our examination timings would be from 2:30 p.m. to 5:30 p.m., which was like probably the hottest time in the day. So what I had done was that when I come to know the schedule, 2:30 p.m. to 5:30 p.m. every day, I would just sit in my desk, my study desk. Doesn't matter whom kaik, if I'm learning something or I'm not learning something. The idea was that I had a commitment develop karyo to sit in that place from 2:30 p.m. to 5:30 p.m. Now you'll ask why. Why is because of this this habit is what created state. I'll give you an example. Tomorrow, in your examination, think about the first day of your examination. You are completely exhausted. કે ભાઈ આ તો શું થઈ ગયું, like બેસીને કોઈ exhaust થઈ જાય, like we couldn't imagine that. Okay, so that is why the challenge over here is that you first have, this is the way of training your biology. It is a way of training your biology to get it right, that you know what, I see what you are saying, okay, but you have to sit in this place. And why do you need to sit into this place? Because this is how you are creating an environment for yourself. So you can start day 1, day 2, you can just be doing things that you like, doesn't matter, but બેસવાની ટેવ પાડી રહ્યા છે અમે લોકો in one place. And this is what happens. Since the invention of cell phones and smartphones, I would say, not cell phones just, it is so easy to become distracted. But start one thing at a time. એક વાર બેસવાની ટેવ પાડો અને like sit, if you are studying, please sit in a place which is study supportive. Okay, so I'm not saying કે તમને desk પર જ બેસીને વાંચવું છે, but if you are, don't sit on your bed, નીચે બેસો. Put a mat and just sit on that mat. It is better than sitting on your bed to study, believe it or me. Because bed, again, psychological trigger. What is bed used for, guys? If anybody can answer, what is bed used for? Come on, I'm waiting for an answer. Sleeping. Yes, sleeping. So bed પર બેસીને વાંચશો તો શું થશે? Yes, you will go to sleep. Yeah, you will go to sleep. Okay. So that's why have a different environment for engaging in your work. It could be your studies, it could be your work, or even engaging in and or engaging in a different activity. All right. I have a question over here. How to apply state of flow in people management? I'm leading. Okay, large group of people. Begin with yourself. That's probably the first thing I would say. If you want to trigger flow states in your team, first begin with yourself. Second, if you read the books, the Stealing Fire by Stephen Kotler and Jamie Whelan, so Rise of Superman is more focusing about people getting into flow states. Stealing Fire actually talks about large teams, and it talks about Navy SEALs. It talks about Google and how they select their CEOs. So all the second book I would recommend to you, please read it, because they have authentic research on how to maximize flow states in people. Okay, I'll give you an example. Um, um, okay. One of the things that they suggest is that to have flow state, to put teams in a high pressure environment. To give you an example, તમારી team training હોય, so how about if you do a team training in an actual rock climbing site? Okay. Now, ઘણીવાર cost benefit analysis આપણે લોકો કરીએ અને we feel that ખબર નહીં આનાથી કંઈક મળશે કે નહીં, અને normally અમે લોકોને બહાર લઈને જઈએ તો એમને તો એવું જ લાગે છે કે પિકનિક છે, ભલે ટ્રેનિંગ હોય. I understand that. So some other suggestions were about how physical workspaces were created. Amna tame joso to our physical workspaces are such that we are અમે લોકો open desk માં કામ કરીએ. Now what happens in open desks is, or this is what they said, is like કોઈ આય જાય, કોઈ બીજો વાત કરે, and these are constant distractions. Okay, better is to have people work in isolation. Okay, and isolation doesn't mean that they don't have any time to connect with each other, but basically they have physical separations between them, so that they are able to get in a state of flow. If you are working in a team where teamwork is very important, to give an example, just simple example, football team. Okay, ફૂટબોલ ટીમમાં જો આ કરાવવું હોય તો ફૂટબોલ ટીમ or કોઈ મેજર ટીમમાં you have to give a problem at hand, and they have to work together to practice the outcome at it. Okay, there are so many more suggestions. These are three of the top suggestions that came to my mind. I hope I have answered. Okay, the book, the name of the book is Stealing Fire. You know what, I'll do you one better. This is the book. Okay, and it is written by Stephen Kotler and Jamie Whelan, and it talks about this idea of getting into flow states right from the time of Greek mythology. Okay, so it is a very good book. Okay, so I hope I'm answering all the questions as we are going ahead. All right. Now, achieving the state of flow every day. So here is where we are coming to the actual exercise. I had a question. Maybe Chinmay could answer me. Chinmay, can you see me, or can you only see the presentation screen?
We are able to see you, madam.
Okay, all right. Okay, thank you, Patel sir. So, so then this is where I have to actually do an activity with you. Okay, so how do you achieve the state of flow every day? Every day. Well, it might feel unfamiliar at first. Why? Because you haven't done it. But if you practice it, you will get to the outcome. So what I'm going to do is, we are today just going to do some breathing exercises. But we are going to do these breathing exercises very deliberately. Okay. Now, what does that word deliberate mean? In the sense that I am not going to be married to my outcome. Okay. I am not going to think about what the people around me are thinking, because some of these activities will feel unfamiliar. Okay. I will do all the activities and I'll show you. And then we will do it. Hopefully, we will all do it together. All right. So, what is the first thing that I would like you to do? I would like you to do is breathe through your nose into your belly. Okay. Now, when I say belly, in the sense, right now, let's start with this first. Keep your hand on your belly. Breathe in and breathe out. Okay. One more time. Normal breathing, no deep breathing. Now tell me this thing. When you were breathing in, was your belly expanding or was it contracting? When you were breathing in, contracting. Okay, I got one answer, contracting. What other people do?
Expanding.
Expanding, contracting, expanding, contracting. Now this is, so see, we feel that we have to conquer the world, but we have to first begin by conquering our own breath. I love the prayer that we begin with. कि पहले खुद पे जय करें. Okay, you have to first gain victory about on our being and then worry about the world. Okay, so for everybody who said contracting, the answer is wrong. When you breathe in, your belly should go out. Why? Science behind. When you breathe in, your lungs fill in. When your lungs fill in, your diaphragm will push down if you're breathing right. And when your diaphragm pushes down, your belly will expand. Okay, so let's do it once again. Keep your hand on your belly. We are going to do normal 3 breaths, but this time we are going to do it right. When you breathe in, your belly expands. When you breathe out, your belly contracts. Okay, 1, 2, 3. How does that feel for everybody who tried breathing for the first time?
It was good.
How does that feel? Okay, good, nice. That feels so good, right? Suddenly I feel that, oh, there's oxygen in my body. Happy. Okay, all right, okay. So, see, just breathing right is your step number 1 to getting to your destination. Now, why breathing right? This is again science behind it. When you are breathing, okay, and your belly expand, it automatically triggers your parasympathetic nervous system, which means the nervous system that keeps you calm. Okay, let's say you run. When you run and come, your breathing is more shallow. It's like, and because of that, what happens is that it triggers your sympathetic nervous system to put you in a state of fight, flight, or freeze. Okay, so basically you are getting, your body almost gets ready to go into war. Okay, and this is where a lot of people make mistake, especially ઘણી વાર presentation ની પહેલા એકદમ એમને લાગે છે ડીપ બ્રીથિંગ કરી રહ્યા છે, બટ ડીપ બ્રીથિંગ કોન્ટ્રાક્ટેડ બેલી પર કરો તો એ actually બીજું જ નર્વસ સિસ્ટમ તમને ટ્રિગર કરે. The one where you are actually ready to run away from the situation or fight in that situation. Okay, so just change this thing. Okay, so that is one thing. The second step, what we will do, we are going to go through this process one by one. Okay, the second step that what I'm going to do is I'm going to breathe in with my nose. Now this would be a deep breath into my belly, and I'm going to release it with a sound from my voice. The sound has to come. Okay, so this is how it will go. I'm throwing the sound out. Okay. Okay. Now what's the next thing? The next thing what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my fist on my belly. Okay, and now as I'm doing it, I'm going to start moving my body. Okay, now why moving my body, I'll tell you in just a second, but how will this look like? Okay, so this will look like this. So naturally, when I breathe in, because my belly is expanding, the tendency of my body will be to go behind. Okay, so, and then if I'm releasing, it will be ओके, जितने लोगों को लग रहा है मुझे माता चढ़ी है, मुझे माता नहीं चढ़ी है. ओके, सो स्टॉप लाफिंग गाइस, दिस इज जस्ट अ टेक्निक एंड आई विल टेल यू व्हाई दिस टेक्निक वर्क्स. ओके, the first is that what happens is, and now this is where we go into philosophies. Why are we breathing it into our belly and then saying ha? Okay, we are breathing into our belly because this is where we store things. Okay, this is where we keep all our understanding of ये ठीक नहीं है, હવે શું થશે, અનસર્ટનિટી, આ જે બધી ફિલિંગ્સ હોય ને, એટલા માટે લોકો કહે ને ગટ રિએક્શન. ગટ રિએક્શન શું, એટલે તમારા બેલી રિલેટેડ, કેમ કે ગટમાં મને લાઈક યુ નો I haven't yet seen people who said કે મને કઈ લાઈક યુ નો મને એવું થાય છે કે લાઈક યુ નો આ પર્સન ગડબડ છે, અહીં પકડીને નહીં, બધા જ લોકો અહીં પકડીને કરે કે મને એવું લાઈક યુ નો ઇટ્સ મોર પોઇન્ટિંગ ટુવર્ડ્સ ઇનવર્ડ્સ. ઓકે, so when we are breathing in, we are filling our body with the energy. Breath is life itself. Okay, the energy of life itself. We are filling our body with that energy, and with that energy, when we say ha, we are throwing out all this uncertainty and this what will that person think, અને હવે હું શું કરીશ, અને આરા મારાથી નથી થતું, all that we are throwing it out. Okay, and that is why, and it has to come out with your voice. So belly and throw it as strong as possible. Again, we will be gently building into it. Now, why the movement? Movement is the proof of your existence. Who doesn't move? Everybody who's in a graveyard doesn't move. Okay, movement is the proof of your existence. When you breathe in life, okay, the energy of life, with movement you are utilizing this energy. Okay, physics champions apne બધા જ, energy can neither be created nor be destroyed. It can be, and I'm looking at my answers. I am looking at my answers. Energy can neither be created nor be destroyed. It can be
transmitted.
It can be transferred from one form to the other. So this life, we are changing it into this life energy, we are changing it into this movement energy. Okay, and that is where doing this exercise is important. We will be starting slow again. Please, anybody who has any ailments, neck issues, back issues, vertigo, do not do this exercise, because I don't want you to feel sick by the end of it. Okay, if you are doing it for the first time, do it at your pace. Okay, do it at your pace. You don't have to follow what I'm doing, just understand the methodology and the reason behind it. Okay, and finally, for the last step, we will take one deep breath, we will hold it, hold it, hold it, let that energy be absorbed in your body, and then we will release it with a ha. Okay, so I am going to start this process now. Once again, first thing, I am going to be just breathing in into my belly and breathing out with a ha. Simple deep breaths. Second, I'm going to start moving. Okay, again, the breathing pattern remains the same, the movement speed will increase, and in the third thing, I'm going to hold the air in my belly and then just put it out in a ha. Okay, all right, let's begin. So 3 natural breaths, and then the deep breathing will start. Okay, and now the deep breathing. Ha. 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 ha, 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 ha. Three more. Ha, ha, ha. Hold the breath. Ha. Suddenly, at least for me, I am sweating already a little and I can feel oxygen running, and my brain is suddenly experiencing these experiences that it did not. It almost as if I had a shot of espresso before I just started speaking. How was your experience, guys? I'm very curious to hear if you are done doing it. I'm looking at the chat box. Energetic, fantastic. And how much time did it really take? Few seconds or few minutes only. I'm also sweating. Yeah. Okay. Right. It feels like, it almost feels like you did a workout, didn't you? Yes, I'm getting a lot of responses. Okay, so also to let you know, and here's a link. I have prepared what I am doing right now is on YouTube. I have a channel again by the name of my company, which is ADM's Career Coaching. And I have prepared a special playlist, and this is the link to the playlist where it is the 7 days daily evolution challenge. So there is a day zero, which it begins with, which is the preparation phase about what you could be doing in the next days, and then every day there is a 7 minutes per day plan that I follow for getting myself in the state of flow. We've already done day 2. Today would be day 3, so I will be posting that video shortly. And that's about it from me. Now, time for questions. Any questions? Improve health. Okay, so I'll say this thing. I'm not a health expert. Okay, so I will never say that this is a way to improve health. However, I would like to consider myself a being expert. What I believe is that this will definitely enhance the quality of your life, and that is my personal mission. How can I help enhance your quality of life? And my primary question is, how can I help you do it in the least amount of time? So if you just saw this particular breathing exercise, the only thing is that it looks very weird. That part I would agree, because the first time I was doing it, I almost scared my spouse away. And he did not know that I was going to do this. I did not know, because I was doing it for the first time. I was following somebody on an online program. But the way I felt, I don't think so I have ever felt that way with any other breathing exercise that I've done. How to be consistently in the state of flow? Okay. Yeah. So first question. Okay. How to be consistently in the state of flow? Begin with 1 second. Okay. Can you first begin by being able to voluntarily create 1 second of flow state? Okay. That means you can, instead of just waiting ki bhai મારે flow state ત્યારે જ થાય છે જ્યારે હું આવી રીતનો કોઈ એક્ટિવિટી કરું, on demand, કે હમણાં મને flow state જોઈએ 1 સેકન્ડ માટે, તો મારે શું કરવો જરૂરી છે? And the answer could be as simple as this breathing exercise. Okay. It could be going into your respective trigger environments, એટલે કે environment હોય કે social triggers હોય કે creative or psychological triggers હોય કે world universal triggers હોય. You can look into that. But first learn by creating a flow state, on demand flow state, with just 1 second. Okay. Is increasing awareness related to increasing state of flow? Increasing awareness, I think when you are in a state of flow, you already create a heightened state of awareness. Okay. Just to give you an example, અને કદાચ તમે બધા જ આની સાથે રેઝોનેટ કરી શકશો. હમણાં કોવિડનો season ચાલી રહ્યું છે. Who thought a virus would have a season? Now, ઘણી બધી એક્ટિવિટીઝ આપણી બધી જ ફ્રોમ હોમ જ થઈ રહી છે, બટ ફોર સમ થિંગ્સ યુ હેવ ટુ સ્ટેપ આઉટ ઓફ હોમ. હવે જ્યારે તમે સ્ટેપ આઉટ કરો, યુ સડનલી નોટિસ સમથિંગ કે જે તમે પહેલા નોટિસ નથી કર્યો હતો. ઇટ કુડ બી કે ઓ મારા ઘરની પાસે જ આ ગાર્ડન છે, ઓર ઇટ કુડ બી કે ઓ લાઈક યુ નો લાઈક ત્યાં લોકો ચાલી રહ્યા છે. Now why this? Because you are already primed to be in a state where you have heightened awareness. કેમ કે there is this threat કે હું aware નહીં રહું તો મને COVID થવાની શક્યતા છે. All right. Now this is the same thing with a flow state. When you are in a state of flow, automatically your awareness is heightened. And awareness not about yourself. At least self-awareness nahi. Awareness of just that moment. Okay. I want to be trained. How can we be this career coach? Career coach I used to practice career coaching when I was in India. And I've done my training in psychology, and we were trained in doing the psychometric tests for evaluating aptitude, interests, and work value habits. So that's one thing. You could probably plan to do a master's in psychology. But other than that, career coaching goes much beyond if you're looking at career coaching in Canada, because here we also train people on employability skills. So what's next after attaining our flow? Next, everything. The world is open for you. You don't have to just get stuck on just one thing. The world is open for you, and you can learn anything. You don't have to be just focused on one thing. Everything that you want, you can have when you are in state of flow. Plus, instead of looking at when I attain a state of flow, focus on enjoying that flow. Because again, like, it feels that this idea of flow is again something that is out of my reach, and હવે મને મહેનત કરીને એને પકડવું પડશે. That's not really the thing. It is finding your flow. જો આપણે કોઈ searching your flow કરી રહ્યા હતા, તો then it would have been something that is not there, અને તમે શોધવા જઈ રહ્યા છો. Finding your flow is कि આ છે. For example, my car keys are right here on the table, અને મને મળી ગયા. All right, it is there. You just have to find it for yourself. That's about it. Okay, I think this is the link you are talking about. I will be sharing these slides with Patel sir, and then I think he can share it with all of you. So don't worry if you have missed anything. Otherwise, just go to YouTube and write ADM's career coaching. That's it. You should be okay. All right. So if that is it for all the questions, these are the resources that I have used. If you would like to know which flow type you are, you remember we have done the 4 flow triggers. This is the link to creating a flow profile. And they ask you about 10 questions, and based on that, they tell you whether your primary triggers is the environment, the creativity, the social aspect, or the universal aspect. So that's something that you can learn it from. The books that I've referred, as I mentioned, it's The Rise of Superman by Stephen Kotler, and I have given a YouTube link for the audiobook, and the same thing for Stealing Fire by Stephen Kotler and Jamie Whelan. And then there are YouTube video links for speeches given by Stephen Kotler and Jamie Wheel, and I would just say, just check it out. It's something. It's really nice to know. And that's about it from me. Thank you very much, all of you, for spending your evening with me, your Sunday evening with me. I know we all have to go back to work tomorrow, or studies or whatnot. And if you'd like to connect with me, this is my email address. It's annadeanmenezes@gmail.com. And if you would like to check out my website, it is admscareercoaching.com. Right. So that's about it. Okay.
So, madam, before I say